we ignore so many of those, but then we act like this one stands out. We ignore all the women who've been punched and hit and slapped by their man, and then we want to talk about Ray Rice every day.
Let me look. I'm gonna run you a quick little clip. Just watch this real fast. This is Sherman showing up to his in-laws' house, and you don't need to see the whole video just to know that. So he's trying to get in, and then this happens. Now he doesn't look drunk, right? I mean, he looks. So he's come through, bitch. Okay, right. That's. And it's about 2 minutes of him standing out there just yelling at Ray to come through in his house shoes. Man, look,
he's lucky. He's lucky she didn't come through.
Yeah, he really
clearly
is.
He was not in the mindset to have a peaceful conversation.
No, and that's the part of it is I think that cooler heads prevailed on the other side of that door, thankfully. But in the chat here, at least they were like, man, you just start to wonder based on everything we've seen throughout the last 5, 6, 7 years of NFL football and what we know about, head trauma and CTE and everything else. If you start combining alcohol and other things with the potential of those issues, was this just a drunk guy or was this something else? You don't really know and you don't want to speculate, but it's very erratic
it sounds like
behavior.
Y'all speculating. Would we be looking for other reasons if he was a lawyer, a doctor, or a plumber?
Well, look, I mean,
some men get mad and drunk and act an ass.
But the first thought with a football player is erratic behavior like that. I wonder if.
But that's not erratic.
That's definitely erratic behavior.
But that's not. You don't look at that behavior and go, I've never seen anybody else do that, so something must be wrong. No, you've seen millions do that. Since he did that, what was it, a week and a half ago or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Tens of thousands have done it all across the country. Doctors, lawyers, electricians, unemployed. It's not like, man, I've never seen anything like that before. So no, it ain't got a damn thing to do with football. I mean, it doesn't.
They said the man drank a bottle of Hennessy and a bottle of vodka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people do that.
Let me tell you what.
You just about to kill off a bottle right now. You get on the air for an hour and a half.
But
you'll go banging on the door
somewhere. Bro, if I drank a bottle of Hennessy and a bottle of vodka, I wouldn't be standing. I think that's part of what, when you watch it, you're like, what's going on here? He stumbles at the end of the video, but before that stumble, if no one told you that he had drank a lot of Hennessy and a lot of vodka before that, you really wouldn't know that he was inebriated, which makes you think, is there something else to this?
I already know, that he was inebriated, allegedly drunk. I didn't know about the bottles or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'll have to watch it and try to watch it unbiased. But no, I tend to think that, like I said, the tens of thousands of people who've done that recently, most of them were drunk or high. That's just, like I said, when I see stuff like that, to me, it has nothing to do with sports. Nothing at all.
He wanted to commit suicide
because it happens across the board everywhere. It's regrettable every time it happens, and he's lucky his in-laws didn't just shoot him through the door.
Yeah,
and we'd have a much more tragic story. He's fortunate that his wife didn't come out, because clearly he had evil intentions in mind and was out of his mind. But no, I'm not going to blame him tackling somebody to give him, and I know people aren't saying that's an excuse, but in a way
it's a concern more than an excuse. We're not trying to dismiss it.
Outside reason other than him just being an ass.
Well,
at that moment in time. And he might not be that way always, and maybe his wife and will say, nothing like that had ever happened before.
She did
seen it like that until that day.
She did. I mean, she didn't say those words, but she was like, look, we love him. He didn't harm us. I believe in him. This is out of character for him. This isn't normal for him, which leads you to believe. I mean, look, again, and this is why I think people bring it up, because what you don't want to see is, and Justin Swinford made a point in the chat. He said, what about his suicide comments? What you don't want to see is, if we can get out ahead of this, if maybe it's more than just alcohol abuse, if maybe we need to look into this, because you don't want another Junior Seau on your hands where you look back and go, man, we didn't know, and it's too late to tell now. Right. So that's the thing. It's such erratic, and I get it. Drunk people do drunk shit all the time. But there's that extra circumstance of, he does play a sport which has been proven to have these issues that affect players.
Yeah, I get that. But there's also a whole bunch of times where we're told it's out of character. And then when a deep dive is done, we find out really wasn't that out of character either. It's my simple answer, it's way too early in the story to start making pronouncements or declarations. We just don't know. You know what I mean? But based on that one incident, he's got a problem. And it could be alcohol, it could be assholishness,
Could be both or all three.
He could be an abuser, and his wife is just saying that because she doesn't want him to get into more trouble. We simply don't know.
Which happens a lot as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a good point.
It happens a lot in all sorts of circumstances, but going to your in-laws' house with that level of angst that he brought,
of aggression,
it'll be different if it was your own house.
Yeah.
And she locked you out. Different in terms of you're thinking it's just me and her, right? And so got a lot of guys or abusers or potential abusers react differently in those situations when they think it's just them and the spouse or the significant other, whatever you want to call it. Doing that at someone else's house completely, like that, those people it's a level of non-thinking that's pretty amazing. Like, you've got to be totally out of your mind. It's the same. It's the people who do stuff right in front of the police. You're like,
right?
What are you just completely out of your mind?
Why are you doing that?
What the hell?
Yeah.
So that's out there. Ain't no question about it. But like I said, where it comes from, I have no idea. We won't know. We may never know.
Probably not.
We certainly won't know today.
I mean, I understand why it opens it up for speculation, though. I really do. I mean, when you see the erratic behavior of players in the past, you start to see that some of that has been associated with CTE and that occurring because of football. You understand at least why people would start to speculate when they see that. And not just when they hear about it, but when they see a video like that. Because he continues. I mean, dude, he stands there for 2 minutes yelling, "Come through. Just come through, Ray. Come through." Like,
whether it's the football related brain injury, which is what you're talking about, I mean, he's an aggressive guy. He's an aggressive football player. So, and he's drunk. Y'all were saying he was drunk. So,
I mean, he crashed his car in a construction zone.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I'm just not willing to even come close to going there, just because I know nobody's trying to excuse it, but it seems like an effort to attach this pitiful behavior to the sport of football and to the NFL, when, like I said, there's somebody right now banging on the door of his wife's house trying to get in to beat her ass.
Because he's drunk. Fair enough.
Because he's an ass.
Point. Yeah, it's a good point.
You know?
True.
And we ignore so many of those, but then we act like this one stands out. We ignore all the women who've been punched and hit and slapped by their man, and then we want to talk about Ray Rice every day. For the one time that he did it, according to his wife, and they're still together and have moved on and dealt with it. But no, I mean, that behavior disgusts me. I don't care if the dude played in the NFL or never did play.
Or what the reason is. Yeah.
Right. And I kind of don't even give a damn about the reason.
Yeah.
Unless there's a cure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and half the cure is stop drinking.
Is there a vaccine to keep motherfuckers from beating up on their spouses?
Man.
Well, shit, shoot them up.
Shoot them up. Yeah, look, half of it is don't drink. I mean, that's a if you can't handle it, if that's how you act, you definitely don't need to be drinking. And
He stopped you. You
there
just
are
guzzling right along here.
5 charges that have been leveled against him that the judge handed down. Now he was released on bail. Originally they didn't because they said that this was domestic violence because he went there and did what he did. It's considered domestic violence, and they don't give bail to domestic violence domestic violence
Wisely.
cases. But
That's
the
a
judge,
smart
he went
thing.
before the judge. 5, some of them are felonies. This is going to be interesting, man. I mean, and I think too, it would not surprise me if he's fighting for his existence of not going to jail, where he doesn't necessarily plead insanity, but says, "Look, it was alcohol."
Well,
And
let me jump in here again, and I keep trying to emphasize this. There are charges like that leveled against guys every day who don't go to jail. So if he doesn't go to jail, people say, see what you get away with as a football player? That ain't it.
really, is there a lot of people that don't go to, I feel like the average dude that does that's going to jail.
You does what? Beat on the door?
Yeah.
You're wrong. You're
And
real wrong.
their
You're
car, they
absolutely
wrecked their
100.
car into a
You're
construction
absolutely
site.
100%. You're absolutely 100% wrong. There are guys who beat up on women and don't go to jail. Forget beating up on the
Fair
door.
enough. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, all the time, and a woman saying he's beating on me, and he go to jail for the night like he did, but don't go to prison. All the
Yeah.
time, Barry. All the
Okay.
time.
Oh, I mean, look, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there's the circumstances of just a guy drinking, and then there's the level that Richard Sherman might use to explain away the behavior. That's the point I'm trying to
What
make.
I'm saying is, as a society, we let people walk for doing a hell of a
Well,
lot
we
worse
don't. The
than that.
judicial system does. I
No,
don't want the guy to get off for that.
we are the judicial system
What?
in many ways.
You and I
In
aren't a
many ways,
judge. We're not the
in
ones
many
handing
ways,
down sentence.
in many ways, we are the judicial system because we vote those judges in. We allow them to do
Okay.
that. We allow them to let people walk after beating. Hell, up until kind of recently, and maybe even sometimes cases now, they still go, well, what did she do when there's a
God,
case of abuse?
that's disgusting.
I mean, that's all,
Yeah.
but it's always been
Yeah.
hell. It used to not be against the law to beat your wife.
I know.
I mean, Barry, come on. So
Yeah.
let's
No,
not
I'm
act
not.
like
Look, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to say what you could see his angle being, or the because look, a
But
lot of
what
people
I'm saying
had
is
those
he
thoughts.
might not even need an angle. Of course, he's got to go to
Yeah.
rehab for alcohol and say the alcohol played a huge role in it, and he'll
Yeah.
go to counseling and all of that. But no, I'm not going to be surprised if he doesn't go to prison. I mean, did he hurt anybody? Which is what a lot of people are going to say.
No.
Did he actually do anything that he was all the threats and did anything actually come of it? Because, like I said, there are people who do worse than that, and we let them walk. And by we, I mean we as a society, we let them walk. They walk among us, and we don't even trip.
Daddy's making a YouTube video.